And welcome back, guys, to another episode of Katawa Shoujo. In the last episode, we decided to take things pretty easy, had a very interesting conversation with Kenji once again, and we spent a nice afternoon. We just spent a nice lunch with two lovely ladies. But we don't know what we're going to do for the rest of the day, so we just said, screw it, library, we have a book addiction, let's go. The afternoon classes pass. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school, so I head to the library to return a couple of books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see that there are about as many students here as there were on Tuesday, all the more evident from the total silence enveloping the room. As I drop the books I borrowed into the returning slot on the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it, quite startled from the banging they make as they hit the trolley next to her. Sorry, Yuko. Is it Yuoko? I know it's probably just Yuko. Like you don't add the extra U on. Didn't mean to startle you.
No, that's fine. It happens a lot. I am used to it by now. Can I help you?
It's okay. I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway. I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. There's not much else to do, and after reading so much during my stay at the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down to the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako had been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. Surprisingly, though, she's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decide against intruding on her like last time and get back to finding reading material. After an indiscernible, wow. Indescribable. I should slap myself. Indiscernible amount of time spent perusing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelf. With a minimum of fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them in my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far behind. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorm. I guess I need to buy some supplies. I can't live off cafeteria food and eating out for my entire stay here. As I leave for the gate, I make a few loud stretches to try and stave off the tiredness that accumulated over the week. After passing through and rounding the corner, though, I see a solitary figure walking downhill towards the small town below, the color of her hair and tapping of her cane unmistakable. I quickly walk up to her, which seems to catch her attention without a word needing to be said. Hi, Lily. She takes a moment to place the voice, slightly adjusting her head to face a bit more towards the source of my voice as she does.
Hisao?
Yep, that's me. She seems to have a good memory for voices. The fact that she actually remembered is a pleasant surprise.
Good evening. What brings you here?
Once again, she gives a small, polite bow, and once again, I rely in kind before realizing that I needn't do so. Just going into town. You?
My, what a coincidence.
Doing the same thing, eh?
I usually go to shopping on Fridays.
She pauses for a moment, suddenly looking a little lost.
That said, Hanako usually comes into town with me.
Not lost, but worried. The two do seem to keep pretty close tabs on one another. It's kind of surprising that Hanako would just forget Lily like that. I noticed her reading in the library. She's probably just got caught up in a book. She lets out a small sigh of relief.
Thank you. She has a habit of doing that.
Avid reader?
Right. She doesn't like being around crowds of people, so reading away from everyone lets her relax a bit.
Although she probably didn't intend it, I can't help but grimace as I recall my first meeting with her. Hardly wanting to bring it up, I remain silent as we quietly continue to walk down the quiet road. Tack, 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 tack. With the road beneath bereft of cars, and the students of Yamaku increasingly far behind us, the quiet rustling of the leaves and the measured tapping of Lily's cane against the sidewalk are all. The funny thing is she's talking about the sidewalk, but we're in the middle of the road. I know we're not technically actually in the middle of the road. It just makes it seem like we are. It's kind of nice, especially compared to the hustle and bustle of where I used to live. Before I know it, I've relaxed so much that a loud yawn escapes before I can control it. Tired? Yeah, I've been running ragged these past few days. That's an understatement, to be sure. Transferring into a different school would be bad enough, but nothing like this.
Well, hopefully everything should settle down for you. The festival's got everyone in a spin right now, and you've been plopped right in the middle of things.
For a moment I hesitate, but given her apparent tolerance for frankness, I decide to give my full thoughts. I guess Yamaku's kind of different, though. I mean, the formality surrounding everything, the isolation around it, not to mention the most obvious difference. It's kind of a whole different mindset. I suppose I'll get used to it, though, in time. She gives a matter-of-fact nod, apparently pleased with my answer. It feels almost as if she included me in the flock of students she's shepherding, along with Class 3-2 in Hanako. Well, not that I mind. It's nice to get the thoughts off my chest, in any case.
Looking at the bright side, one could see it as a chance for a new beginning. You should cherish the ability to make new friends.
That's optimistic. Nonetheless, it's good to have a positive attitude about such things, I suppose. I guess that's a good take on it. Walking down the road, she seems to have become somewhat unsettled. Before I can ask what's on her mind, she seems to collect herself and speak up about something else.
So, where in town were you going?
That's actually a pretty good question. I'd come in to buy food, but the layout of the place is still totally foreign to me. I had intended to just wander around and see what I could find, but this sunset's already approaching and nightfall not too far away. That doesn't seem very wise. I'm going to have to ask for her for directions. Again. I was just going to get some food, but now that you mention it, I don't really know the way.
Well, now, that is quite lucky. I was just about to go to the convenience store myself.
Looks like I'll be in your care again, then. Thanks. Together we walked to the store, my pace carefully slowed to remain beside her. Compared to my usual walking pace, hers is quite a bit slower, not that it is without reason. After what couldn't be more than several minutes, I catch sight of our objective. This town really is pretty small. Without further ado, we make our way inside with a greeting from the counter.
Mind if I tag along with you? Usually Hanako would help me, but seeing as she's not here...
It takes a moment before I realize what she means. Considering she wouldn't be able to read any of the labels, shopping without any help would be a big pain for her. That said, I can't shake the feeling that she had this idea since I said I was coming here. Sure, it'll be my pleasure. I grabbed two well-used red baskets from the small stack beside the entrance, handing one to Lily. She lays it on the ground, putting her school bag in, retracting her cane and sliding through the basket's handles before picking it back up in her right hand. Wait. If she doesn't use her cane... Before I can complete the thought, she comes beside me and pinches the cuff of my uniform in her slender fingers.
Is this all right?
Ah, sure. Hey, yeah, there we go, Hisao. You win. I have no reason not to accept. I can think of worse things than shopping with a pretty girl holding on to me, even if it's not out of necessity. We navigate our way through the store, with not one of the occasional passing customers seeming to bat an eyelid. Considering how close Yamaku is, I guess seeing students from there must be entirely normal for local residents. As we reach each aisle, I quickly check with Lily and find out what she needs. I grab it along with what I'm looking for and put our items into their respective baskets. I guess this is the same routine she and Hanako follow every Friday. Right, all that's left is the bread, and that should be my shopping done. Do you need anything else, Lily?
No, this should be everything.
Off we go then. With a quick side trip to the bakery section, we make our way to the registers. The line, thankfully, is almost non-existent. It's not long before we've both paid for our food and are out the door. As Lily retrieves her cane and extends it to its full length, I waste a minute looking upwards at the night sky while holding both of our bags. For a moment, I try to make clouds with my breath, but the summer heat doesn't seem to cooperate. Eventually, she rights herself, taking a quick stretch before taking her bag and leaving me to my two.
You tired as well?
Oh, you tired as well?
The festival preparations have been a complete chaos. Shizune's breathing down my neck doesn't exactly help things either.
Hey, she's only trying to get everything organized. Better now than later, right?
I suppose. I'm going to enjoy relaxing in town tomorrow, that's for certain.
Guess the festival preparations must be taking their toll on both of them. We walked out into the quiet street, talking between ourselves as we carry our bags of food and supplies from the store. Wait, what's that? I notice a very distinctive figure making its way towards us, silhouetted by the street lamps. For a second, I think it's another male student from my class, but as he, or should I say she, gets closer, I recognize her quickly. Rin, what are you doing out here so late?
Rin?
Lily perks her head, looking like she was trying to focus on listening more keenly. It suddenly comes to me that I should probably interpret the scene for her. It's Rin Tezuka. I think was her last name, from our school. She stiffens at the name and gives a complicated-looking expression, something like a forced fusion of composed smile and painful cringe.
Ah, I understand.
I guess Lily knows Rin too. Rin turns to look at us, looking terribly out of it. I'm not entirely sure she recognizes either of us, or at least she doesn't acknowledge if she does. She looks like a zombie or a statue. A statue of a zombie? But slowly, some symptoms of understanding seem to lighten her dark eyes. This is something she must react to. She blinks once, very thoughtfully. Hello. There's an awkward pause. Everyone's waiting for someone else to say something. What are you doing out this late? I was wondering about that myself too, just now. Some people asked that just before. I assumed they were wondering the same. Didn't know. They didn't know either, I asked. That's why I'm wondering. So that was pretty much it. It's a murder mystery without a murder. They're going that way. She turns facing to her right in order to demonstrate the direction the other people went, as if that was important, then rotates back and like a mechanical puppet in one of those overly complicated clockworks. For a person who gives an impression of being the quiet type, Rin really does use a lot of words to say things that don't need a lot to be said. Unsure if she's finished, I say nothing. Neither does Lily, who seems equally robbed of words for the time being. I think that both of us are in fact just scared that any response might provoke her to continue. Our stupefied lack of reaction doesn't faze Rin at all. She keeps looking at us expectantly, a calm hint of expression on her blank face. She seems to be that kind of person, always so relaxed. As if bull elephant grade sedatives were flowing in her veins in the place of blood.
Do you have amnesia? I don't recall you have anything of the sort, though.
No, I don't think it's that. The other passerbys were probably just worried, though. You do look really lost, the way you're just standing in the middle of the street. Oh, I see. Maybe I should have taken some other kind of pose in that case. I ponder for a while whether I should chase this angle further or give up for the sake of my own sanity. I decide on the latter. It seems that most of the time, it's better not to read too deeply into what Rin is babbling about. Talking with Rin is like playing chess with a supercomputer who does seemingly completely random moves as if to mock everything you know about chess. It's like that, except with human interaction. Even if I win, it feels like losing. Damn, it's just like Kenji said. Even when I win, I lose. Is this the power of the girls of Yumaku? Push the thought aside as too dangerous to consider further. It's probably just Kenji's anti-female propaganda getting me during a moment of weakness. Yeah, maybe taking another pose might have worked. So anyway, you have no idea what you're doing here? She frowns, looking extremely displeased at either my question, its consequences, or the answer she's about to give. I do have some idea. I can't really tell what kind of an idea.
That sounds like progress, at least.
Lee sounds as she spotted an opening for some kind of discernibly normal conversation. Can't say I share her optimism.
Yes, there is something. Definitely. The rest will come later. I'm sure of it. I always have reasons.
The ensuing silence kills Lily's hopes, all too visibly. That didn't last long. Rin, as far as I can tell, unbiased assurance aside. What should be done? We could just leave her on her own devices, whatever those are, but it's late, and I don't think we'll be getting any thanks. Won't be getting any thanks if Rin is found standing here in the middle of the night. Which she probably will, unless she manages to remember what she's doing here in the first place. As for me trying to guess what might have been going on in her head, when she decided to embark on this adventure, the chance seems to be on par with winning the lottery. Several times in a row. Lily is oddly quiet too. I appreciate some support from the sidelines here, especially if she's more familiar with Rin than I am. But it can't be helped. It seems her familiarity with Rin is exactly why she's staying subdued. So, I assume you're going somewhere. Not coming back to school? Any idea where? Her eyes widen in shock and she jolts back in a somewhat artificial way, making it seem like an act rehearsed for situations like this.
Are you a mind reader? Is that your disability? How unique.
No, what? Why would you think that?
You knew what I was doing.
It was just an educated guess. We walked this same street in the other direction just before to get to the store. If you're going to school, we would have met you on the way.
Oh.
Looks like she looks a little disappointed. Like Kenji, Rin appears quick to jump to completely irrational conclusions. Maybe it's something in the water here. I'll make a mental note to stock up on soft drinks. You know, that is the second time this week that someone asked if I was a mind reader. Do you really give off that impression? Rin shrugs her shoulders, which is all the answer I get. You know,
maybe you should come with us back to school.
Lee interjects just as I'm about to further debunk my alleged mind-reading capabilities. She sounds rather concerned, the paper-thin smile on her face badly disguising the fact. Maybe she came to the same conclusion as I did. For everyone's sake, I decided to let the mind-reading topic drop, and it's entirely inane anyway. Yeah, Lily's right. If you can't remember, there's no point in staying here. Rin considers this rather simple deduction for a moment, then nods. Okay. We start towards the school again, having wasted way more time than necessary with this episode. Rin walks along the edge of the sidewalk in her rhythmic way, looking like a mix of sleepwalker and rope dancer, while Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, tapping at the ground with her cane. Tap, step, step, tap, tap, step, step, step. Apart from that, and a few fragmented beginnings of conversation, it's quiet. A quiet quite apart from the relaxing one in town at that. So, how's that mural going? We're going to get bad luck. Never talk about work in progress.
I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
Bad luck. Tap, step, tap, step. She doesn't care to talk about it. Lily's politeness feels out of place for the first time. Step, step, step. The hill Yamaku rests on top is surprisingly steep. Going uphill, we slow the pace, but I still feel my pulse rising and breathing getting heavier. Almost there, I can see the gates already. More than that, though, I notice that Lily's hand slightly tightens on my shoulder, interpreting it as a gesture that she wants to ask something. I speak up. Anything wrong, Lily? I was just serious to say, aside from our traveling companion, but only just. For a moment, she seems to debate whether she should bring it up, but goes for it anyway.
Is everything alright?
Alright? What do you mean? The fact that I can't interpret her incredibly vague question puts her off for a second.
It's just, you seem unusually tired, I guess.
Now that she brings it up, I notice that my breathing is strangely heavy. The uphill walk has really done a job on me. Lily notices it all too quick. Sorry, I'm not in very good condition. I don't really want to talk about it. Well, we're definitely going to talk about it because keeping shit inside is never really a good thing. So, Rin already knows our problem. So, Lily is the only one that doesn't. Though this begs the question: is she thought that my disability was mind reading, so she forgot? Maybe, I don't know. But we will talk to Lily about our heart problem next time. So take care, guys, and stay frosty.